Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about what I learned in relationships. I've had many of them, not all long term, some shorter than others, some more important than others, but these are some things that I've learned. This is mostly for the ladies. Fellas, if you want to listen, you can listen. One of the things I learned is a man will commit to you and not even like you. So, little story. I had a friend. We're no longer friends. It wasn't like some big thing happened. We just drifted apart. We went our separate ways. But I had a friend. He was engaged to be married, and we met up for lunch one day, and we were talking about it, and I was all excited for him. I'm like, "You're getting married, whatever." I could tell he was kind of blah, and I was like, "You are excited about getting married, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine. She'll be a good mom to my kids." And I was like, "Okay, I hope there's more to this than that." And he's like, "Well, I've been with her for a while, and she was saying, if we're not getting married, there's no point in us staying together." I wholeheartedly get where she was coming from. But here's the thing. You threw that out there, and so now he's like, "Oh, so I got to marry her to keep her, even though that may not be what I want with her." So he got married. I don't know if he's still married. I didn't keep up. But he got married and he was not in love. I think it was a matter of convenience, a matter of a certain lifestyle. So just know be careful anyway, picking if you choose to get married. Be very, very, very careful about that. But just know a guy will commit to you and not even like you. It does happen. Number 2, if you let a man take advantage of you, he will. This, so funny. It's just like a child. So my daughter, I had her clean her room. This was like some years ago, and she completely just like was stuffing stuff under the bed, putting things where they shouldn't be. And I made her do extra because I was like, "No, this is not how you clean your room. You know better." So recently she had to clean her room before she went somewhere. And I said, "And you better do X, Y, and Z, vacuum, do your laundry, hang up your clothes." And she's like, "Mom, I know." And I was like, "No, I'm telling you because that one time." And she says, "Mom, I only did that to see if I could get away with it." That's what she said to me. That happened years ago when she did that. But I was just like, this is the same thing, though, that happens with men. They will try you. They will see what they can get away with. If there's a guy who likes to hang out and he wants to go out with the boys and they're like, "Oh, let's stay out till 3." He might stay out till 3 just to see if you're okay with it. If you guys live together, stay out till the next morning. See if you're okay with it. Some guys will do that, not all guys. But there are things that guys will test you on to see what your reaction is going to be. How far can they go? Unfortunately, that's just how it is. Number 3, a good dad might not be a good boyfriend or husband. And this kind of goes back to what I was just talking about. He may not be a good boyfriend or husband because he may not like you. He may not have any respect for you. A man can be all about his kids and you might just not be a priority. Sorry. One thing I wanted to add about he might be a good dad and not a good husband or father is husband or boyfriend, sorry, is that sometimes people are mimicking what they grew up with. They're mimicking what they saw all around them, uncles and aunts, grandparents. So maybe if he thinks that he's just supposed to come home and make sure the bills are paid and he, played a little bit with the kids, or he did it, he goes on the family trips or whatever, and that's his way, but he's not romantic with you. There's no special dinners, there's no random flowers. If you didn't address that you would like that and he was never shown that, that may not happen. So it's more to it than just he may not like you or he may not respect you. It could just be how he was raised. He didn't see that. And if you don't speak up and say something, ladies, they're not going to read your mind. It's not going to happen. Number 4, how he is with you, he may not be the same with the next, and he may not have been the same with the one before you. It's just different vibes. It's different things. He may have cooked for you and not cooked for the last girl. He may have traveled with you and won't travel with the next woman. It's just, you have to think about how you are with boyfriends. It's not, every relationship was not exactly the same. So it's not going to be the same. So don't look for that. If the relationship is over, don't look what he's doing with the future woman. And if you're in the relationship, don't worry about what he did with the past woman, because it's not going to be the same thing. Number 5, do not move in with a man unless you are engaged or your name is on the deed or the lease. If you're boyfriend and girlfriend and you're not getting married, if marriage is not the end result, make sure your name's on the lease or the deed. I cannot stress this enough. I have literally seen women being put out with their children, the man's child, by the way. So I would suggest, unless you are, and even if you are married, I still think you should have your name on things. I don't think you should just, people are always like, oh, you're getting married, the trusting, and life happens. And who you marry is not who you divorce. So make sure your name is on stuff. It's important. Get your name on that lease and that deed. Don't move in unless you are engaged, because the boyfriend girlfriend thing, and I'm telling you this because I've done it. I'm not, a therapist, psychologist, none of the above, no counselor, nothing. I'm literally telling you life experience. Do not move in with a man and not have your name on something or be engaged. You're gonna find out the hard way if you do. And I tell my daughter this, this is what I think, but you don't have to listen. It's up to you. Number 6, if you've lost respect for him, it's time to leave. There's something about when a woman loses respect for a man, how we are toward them. And there's just nowhere where to go. There's nowhere good to go once I've lost respect for you. It just isn't. You're putting yourself in a bad position. Let him go. I'm trying to even think of a situation where I lost respect for. I'm sure it has happened, but I just saw how angry I was towards that person. I couldn't even, them just saying, how was your day? Coming in the door was like, why are you talking to me? What do you want? When you're like that with a person on a regular basis, it's time to go. It's time to let it go. Especially if you're not married. I mean, if you're married, I'm not going to speak on that, but I will say that definitely want to figure that out if you've lost respect for your husband. I don't think you're going to be able to just gloss over that. It's going to definitely turn ugly. Ladies, this is a big one. Listen to what they are saying to you. They will tell you exactly who the F they are. They will tell you. All you gotta do is listen. Watch and listen. They will tell you. I recently went through this actually with an ex, and he told me certain things that I heard it, but I'm not going to lie and say that in the back of my mind, I definitely thought, that could change. He says that now. Now, there are a couple things that did change, But if it's something life changing, like if he said he didn't want kids, or he didn't want to get married, or he's never moving, something that is important to you, that's a big deal, listen. You're not gonna, you have to think how someone can change your mind about something. I knew after I had my daughter, I wasn't having no more kids. You couldn't convince me. When I got pregnant and I was engaged when she was 2 and I had a miscarriage, I was like, you can't pay me enough. I'm not having no more children. Like, it's not, my family can tell you, I was adamant about that. I got in a relationship actually down the line when my daughter was like 10, and he talked about marriage, but he wanted a baby and he had a child. And I was like, yeah, no. The anxiety that came over me at the thought of being pregnant again was like, absolutely not. So you have to think about, what are you strong in, that if you tell a person that in the beginning, they cannot change your mind. And think about what he's telling you. Listen. He means what he says. He really does. Don't try to change it. This is one that we constantly ignore, which is our gut and a woman's intuition. It is a real thing. I didn't know how real it was until I was in the position so many times where I'm like, literally, my gut was telling me, don't do that, don't do that. Or it's like my body gets super hot, super warm, where it's like, you need to leave. You need to leave the situation. Follow your gut and your intuition. I cannot stress this enough. There are so many times. One day I was walking my daughter to school. I dropped her off, and this is back when I was on the bus. She was like in preschool. She was in preschool. Sorry, kindergarten. She was in kindergarten. I dropped her off. I'm walking down the street to go catch the bus. And this man, I had on these nice tennis shoes, and he says, "Oh, nice shoes." And he's like, I sell gym shoes. And there's a guy who's standing back by a truck, and he's like, "I have my card somewhere." And he like pats his pockets like he's looking for a card. And he's like, "If you come back here with me, you know, I can get you a card and maybe even show you some of the shoes. You seem like you like gym shoes a lot." And I said, "Yeah, I do." When I tell you, it had to be God, of course, besides my intuition. But God gives you that. But literally, I was sweating, boiling hot. And I was like, yeah, I need to go. And I was like, yeah, I can't look right now. I gotta go catch this bus. I'm gonna miss the bus. And the other guy who was standing back by the truck, he didn't even smile. He had a straight face. Like, he looked scary. This guy was like smiling in my face, laughing, kikiing. Yeah, I went and crossed the busy street. Luckily, it was a busy street, so worst come to worst, I could have just threw myself out in front of a car. I don't know. Or, yelled for a car. But he wanted me to go back there, and who knows what they were going to do to me. And everything in me was like, go. So I left. That was the time. I'm getting hot just thinking about it right now. But a time in regards to a relationship, recently, I think I might have said this before, but my intuition was telling me that there was more to the story that my ex was telling me. That there was more. That he wanted more with this person. And that there was just more. And even after I broke up with him, still in my mind, I was like, yeah, there's more. Because, I was thinking, maybe I should talk to him. Maybe we can work it out. But then the instant I talked to him and he confirmed to me that he had still talked to this woman after we had broken up, I was like, there it is. Intuition, gut feeling. I knew that that's what was happening, because everyone was asking me like, well, is he talking to this woman? Because I was pissed off that he had even called her because she gave him her phone number. But then the fact that everything in me kept saying, he's talking to this woman. He's talking to her. And I was right. So listen to that gut and that intuition. It's real. Listen to it. That's all I have for today. Hit like and hit subscribe if you'd like to see more of me, and I'll see you next time.